He's filming from over there.
And there's a camera back there.
So I'm 138.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to another Newcastle Town Meeting. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Don Means. I was elected your moderator a week ago today. And before you get too comfortable, would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Over here. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Great, thank you. First, I'd like to recognize Chairman Joel Lynn for comments.
Yep. So I'd just like to welcome everybody to, Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody to the town. Can people hear me now?
No, put your mouth right on it.
All right. An awful lot of noise. How about now? Yeah, we're good? All right. I'd like to welcome everybody to our annual, the open portion of our annual town meeting. It's been a couple years since we've been able to gather together. For the past 2 years, we've done this portion of the town meeting by referendum. And it was in a much shortened format on the ballot. But it's good to welcome everybody back here. There's been a few changes since we've met last. I'm the only familiar face sitting up here on the board. We have some great new membership and have another new select board member we're going to be welcoming later tonight. Is going to be sworn in. We have a new town manager, Sarah Macy. She's been with us for just under a year now, yeah, it's been a crazy couple of years dealing with the pandemic and pivoting, and I would just say that we've had an amazing board and an amazing staff that has worked very hard to do everything we can to make town run better, run safely, and provide everything we need to the residents. So with that, we'll kick off the town meeting.
Okay, thanks, Joel. Can you hear me okay? Okay. First off, for the rules of the meeting, I used the Maine Moderator's Manual, which is put out by Maine Municipal Association. It's easy to understand. And the process I follow is I read each article, and then I ask for a motion to accept the article, and someone please raise your little green card. And I'll ask for a second, and someone else raise your little green card. However, when I ask for the motion, if more than one hand goes up, I'll call that the motion in a second. And then we'll open the article for discussion, and questions, and comments. And then we'll vote, and depending on how we vote on the first article, we'll either vote by the card or we'll vote by electronically. Next, I'll read the election results. And for Selectman, Assessor, Overseer of the Board, Thomas Costenbatter received 319 votes. For Great Salt Bay Sanitary District Trustee, Louis Rector received 4 votes, the most write-in votes. The Great Salt Bay School Board member, Meredith Verney, received the most write-in votes of 29. For the Great Salt Bay CSD budget validation, yes, 313, no, 36. And for do you want to continue the budget validation process? Yes, 259, no, 89. For the secondary education budget validation, yes, 329, no, 29. And do you wish to continue the budget validation referendum? Yes, 248, no, 107. Next, there is a mic in the aisle here, so if you wish to speak, would appreciate it if you'd go to the mic so LCTV can pick up your voice and your comments. And Larry Seidlinger says that it's very sensitive, so you don't really have to move the mic. Articles 7 to 12 are very lengthy, so thanks to your town attorney, he gave me some language a few years ago that says, without objection, I deem the article as read. And then that saves me reading all those numbers. A reminder to please turn off your cell phones. And finally, we'll start by requesting a motion which will allow some Newcastle non-residents to speak, namely Town Manager Sarah Macy, Town Attorney Peter Drum, Town Clerk Jody Kelly, and Road Commissioner Seth Hager. So could I have a motion which will allow them to speak? Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that? All in favor of letting them speak, please raise your hand. Thank you. Opposed? We're all set there. And without ado, we'll get to Article 5. And shall the town utilize remote electronic keypad voting as the method of voting for all articles at this town meeting, the June 21st, 2022 annual town meeting? So a motion to accept Article 5, moved and seconded. Discussion on that? I'd like to recognize Ben.
Hey everybody. So it's been since 2019 since we did this, so I was going to walk everyone through it like I usually do. For those of you that have done it before and may remember how to do it, it's very simple. For those of you who haven't done it before, I've got a test question which we're going to do here in just a second. So everybody got a keypad when they came in. And I run through these common questions because people who aren't familiar with it tend to ask some of these questions. Can it be hacked? No, I haven't figured out how to yet. How do I know my vote was counted? If you look at your keypad and you press any of the buttons, there's a little green LED which turns red sometimes if we're not voting on something. You can just press the button now. That'll show you that your vote has been registered. So we're registered. So when it's recording the vote, it'll turn green and then it'll turn off. So that's how you know. That's how you know registered, that the system registered enemy right here in front of me, this little dongle thing in the computer. Is it truly anonymous? Is it truly anonymous? Yes, it absolutely is. When you came in and when you were checked in and we recorded which clip you put. So do not cross-reference that so that we can call you, so that we can call you and ask you to please bring it back. So, as you're leaving, please do remember to leave it with Shelley. She's going to be blocking the exit and won't let you leave, hopefully, without getting it back. They are expensive, so please try and remember. Why does the total number of votes sometimes look different? The short answer to that is sometimes not everyone votes. So some slides, I think we've got, 50 people here today. You might see 50 responses. The next vote, you may see 42. That means 8 people just decided they weren't going to vote on that question. So it's not that the system isn't counting accurately, it's just some people decided that they weren't going to vote. And why does the slides on the screen not match the book exactly? And that's because there's only so much screen real estate, and that up there is not the official warrant. Neither is what is in the book, but it's a copy of what was posted. So what you see up there doesn't match exactly because I only have so much screen real estate. So without further ado, we'll get on to the test question. Sorry, how it works. Sorry, my apologies. Button 1 is yes, button 2 is no. You can press any of those buttons you want. You can press them as many times as you want. The system will only count the last button you push. So you can change your mind until the moderator says, okay, we're closing the question. You have until then to change your mind, okay? Also, when I go to this next slide, I'll show you in a second, but you're gonna have to wait for the green light at the top of the screen to appear before you start mashing that vote. If you hit the button before the green light shows up, it's not gonna count. So here we go, hold on. Green light's on, go ahead and vote. Shall the town make it illegal to wear a red shirt on the second Tuesday of every odd-numbered month? 33, 37, 41. All right, so then Don would say, okay, we're closing the question, and I would hit the button and say stop, and then it will display the total over there. All right, all you people who like red shirts are out of luck. So it's that simple. So what we have to do now is we have to vote by a show of hands to approve this as the method of voting. If it passes, we will continue to use the keypads for the rest of the meeting. If not, I'll probably turn this thing off and we'll just do it like we would normally do. All right?
Any questions for Ben? Any further discussion on this? Okay, all in favor, please raise your card. Thank you. Opposed? No question how we're going to vote. Article 5 passes. So Article 6, shall the town adopt the Tanniscott Fire and Emergency Services Ordinance as presented? For a digital copy, please visit the town website at newcastlemaine.us or visit town office for a paper copy. So a motion to accept Article 6. Moved and second. Is there a second? No second. I'd like to recognize Joel.
Yep.
Speak to this.
So I just wanted to give a little bit of background on this ordinance that we're talking about right now. This was a collaboration between two members of the Select Board, Tor Glendenning and myself, along with Sarah Macy and some members of the Newcastle Fire Company Incorporated. And we went through this ordinance, which is how the state allows us to set up an agreement like this. There's only a few ways where we don't have a charter that we can have fire protection services. So we went through this and went through line by line, looked at all the possibilities, added some things, took some things away, clarified, and it was a really nice, enlightening experience, I think, for both the select board members and the fire company. We learned a lot about the day-to-day operations, how everything works. Just things you don't hear about in your normal run of business. So this was a very positive. We definitely bashed our heads against the wall sometimes, but we put this together, and I think it's a really good ordinance for the town. It's a really good ordinance for the fire company, and I'd just like to maybe recognize Jim Kaler to just add a few words from the fire company's perspective.
Evening, everybody. Jim Cale, Board of Trustees of Newcastle Fire Company. This was a long process. It took us quite a bit. It was a good deal there. This is basically has the fire department running like we always have been, if anybody has any questions on that. There are a few changes administratively, but the company will run the same way we always have. You'll have the protection that you always have had. I do want to thank everyone involved in the town, on the board, and the fire company for being patient and working very hard and diligent on this effort. Thank you.
And I'd just like to also add that the main purpose of this is to provide the maximum coverage for the firefighters. There were some possible loopholes that could have put firefighters at risk when they're responding to calls. We wanted to make sure that they had the maximum protections, and just wanted to be able to support those people doing that great work for us. So.
Okay. Any further comments or questions? We got Roger? Please use the mic. Please use the mic.
There's copies here.
Did you get one, Roger? I will go get you one. You're welcome.
Here, you
Okay,
can-
further questions?
you can use- okay.
Further questions or comments? This is Article 6. Okay, please vote. Okay. 33 yes, 4 no. Article 6 passes. Article 7, Shall the town raise and appropriate for administration and operations as follows, and without objection, I deem the article as read, except the amount requested is $579,191.59. And for this article, I'd like to recognize Karen.
Hi. Are we going to get anything displayed for this, or no? There we go. Okay. Article 7 is for the administration and operations budget, which covers mainly the town office, most of the staff, legal, audit, cemeteries, parks, and a number of other things. The bottom line increase for this section is 2.8% as compared with the budget number for the fiscal year that ends in a little over a week. The increases on this are mostly due to increased health insurance costs, some computer tech expertise, computer software, for instance, the software we use to manage town finances, Google, Zoom, Adobe, all those things. Video recordings of the select board meetings, as well as, for instance, this meeting. And we have created a new contingency. The last one, I believe it is on here, is a new contingency category that was recommended by our auditors for unexpected or unbudgeted items that really don't belong in another category and shouldn't be allocated to another line item. So it just keeps the record keeping cleaner and our line items clearer. Does anybody have any
Okay.
questions?
Questions or comments on Article 7, Administration and Operations? Okay, please vote. Okay. 41 yes, 4 no. Article 7 passes. Article 8, shall the town raise and appropriate for public services as follows, and without objection, I deem the article as read, except to say the total amount requested is $293,668.54. And for this article, I'd like to recognize Tor.
Hello. The Article 8, Public Services, is comprised of 4 different departments or sections here. Waste disposal has a modest increase of about 7%. General assistance is new, an increase of $3,000. Services, provider agency subtotal is fairly flat, less than 1%. Most of the increase is attributed to planning and development, and in that department, there's a bump of $50,000 in planning services. The select board is recommending a person to assist the town manager, planning board, CEO in service of implementing the comp plan and updating the core zoning code, among other things. The other increase of $35,000 is for broadband capacity, and later there'll be discussion about a complement to this in ARPA funds, but $35,000 has been set aside for basically a grant match as the state, if something comes up in the state within the next year. So total increase for services, public services, is $94,403.
Got it? Okay. Questions or comments on Article 8? Okay, please vote. Okay. 34 yes, 11 no. Article 8 passes. Article 9. Shall the town raise and appropriate for public safety as follows? Without objection, I declare the article is read, except the total requested is $270,555.26. And for this article, I recognize Joel.
Okay, so for Article 9, we're discussing public safety. This includes fire department compensation for firefighters, fire chief, and officers. It includes the proposed budget from the fire chief, which was just passed on through us. And then the biggest increase that we see is in emergency medical services, which is our ambulance service with CLC. This increase is based on the raising of wages. The wages were very low. The paramedics and EMTs were getting paid. So because of that, that raised that number up quite a bit. Currently, the model that we use between the 6 towns to figure out how much each town pays is a 50% valuation, tax valuation of each town, and then 50% call volume. There is some discussion right now about changing that. So that's something, but for this year, that's what that number is. The board has had discussion on recommendations, and we're going to be making those in a couple weeks.
Okay, questions or comments? Ellen, please go to the mic.
Can you just address the salary of the fire chief, which has changed radically from 22 to 23?
Yep. I'll recognize Casey Stevens to discuss the change in.
Casey Stevens. So when Clayton Huntley passed on, the fire company went through some changes, and during that time, with everything going on, we had to switch back to a part-time type of fire chief, and we would like to keep it that way for a little while until we see how this new ordinance goes along, and how everything works out this way. So not saying that it's going to be like this forever, but for hopefully the first couple of years or so, maybe less. I don't know. We'll see how it goes and bring a recommendation to the selectmen later on.
Okay, thank you, Casey.
Yep.
Further questions or comments on Article 9? Okay, please vote. Okay. 40 yes, 5 no. Article 9 passes. Article 10, shall the town raise and appropriate for public works as follows? Without objection, I declare the article is read, except the total requested is $651,305. So a motion to accept Article 10. Moved. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Discussion on Article, I recognize Rob for Article 10.
So, Newcastle has, as a sort of background, Newcastle had been neglecting our roads for many years, and this is the 4th year of a concerted program to address our roads in a thorough way. We identify roads that need rebuilding and have a 3-year cycle by which all the components of the road are upgraded. And so we've been, as I say, this is the 4th year. that we're doing that. Most of that improvement is in the reserves, but the public works portion is the annual maintenance on roads. And the budget is up this year, unsurprisingly, because costs have gone up, and we it's taken us a long time to get in this place where we're trying to really take care of our roads, and we don't want to slow down. There's no reason to believe that costs are going to go down next year, so we're basically continuing to do the same amount of work. The cost to do that is just up this year. So that's what the primarily is driving the increase in public works.
Questions or comments on Article 10, Public Works? Yes, Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin Verney, line item 6 on roads. I live on the North Newcastle Road there, and this spring there, the posted signs come out in the load limit till the frost comes out, then you can use the roads. But I noticed the 20-ton load limit signs disappeared or lifted off. Is that correct? No, I want to talk to the selectmen.
We have a road commissioner who
Yeah, I
is
understand that,
responsible
but
for
it had to come to the selectmen first, because they must have had to vote on it to give the Newcastle Road Commissioner permission to lift them off. The Newcastle Road Commissioner cannot take them load limit signs off without the 5 board. So I guess my question is, did you guys have a meeting on this to lift these 20-ton load limit signs off?
I'm gonna ask our road
That
commissioner
was my
to
question.
address
Yeah,
the
it's
issue.
a yes or no question to you 5 board member.
This is
Select-
about Article 6, snow removal. Kevin?
Line
6.
item 6, roads.
Snow removal? You're on snow.
No, it says roads and snow removal.
Right, so that's the snow removal, that's our plowing, our annual plowing
Well,
contract.
what line item am I looking for the town road?
For the town.
Question
Broken
on the
up.
town road.
It's broken up throughout the whole, we
Well,
don't have one.
I guess I want all the line items.
Okay.
Because I do have a question on it.
So-
And are you familiar that the 20-ton load limit signs are off the North Newcastle Road?
I'm not familiar with that ever being actually, that actually being a legal posting.
So technically, they should be back on these 20-ton load limit signs?
No, I don't know that was ever a legal posting.
You don't
signs
know
you
that for
spoke of.
sure?
I do not believe so.
So you don't know. Is that why they're off?
That would be why they're off.
So 5 of you voted on this or something and looked through it and told
Nope.
the Newcastle Road Commissioner to take these off?
No, there was no formal vote.
Because the reason why, because there's nothing funny about it, because it's pretty serious. And the reason why, because this North Newcastle Road is 20 foot, 7 inches wide, okay? 45 miles an hour. White knuckle driving. Fully loaded truck, 20 foot, 7 inches wide. And you take the Sheepscot Road in the town of Newcastle is 23 foot, 2 inches wide with a yellow line down through the middle, state aid road, 35 miles an hour. Something's wrong here. Are you familiar with the speed limit sign on the North Newcastle Road?
Yeah, that was a DOT study that was done that set those
I
speed
understand
limits.
that, but the town of Newcastle can write up something and the town can vote on it that we can change these signs.
The town has a road commissioner. I think we ought to hear from him.
I don't-
I'm the
I don't-
one running the meeting.
I don't-
Tim.
Yeah.
You certainly have your...
Excuse me a minute, can I speak? Can I still speak?
It's
Thank
up to
you.
me.
Huh?
It's up to me if you can still speak.
Have we got a vote on how much I can speak?
You're speaking and they're
Okay,
answering your
thank you.
questions. Okay.
But the reason why I'm going to the board, because our Newcastle Road Commissioner does not answer his phone. He does not get back to the emails. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The road commissioner have anything you'd like to add?
I mean, it's up to you. Just, yeah, just.
Good evening all. Seth Hager, Road Commissioner for the Town of Newcastle, for those of you I haven't met. I can speak to several of the items that Mr. Verney had brought up and more than willing to discuss anything else that you'd like.
Step forward.
More than willing to discuss any of these items with any of you if you want any additional information at any point in time either. The North Newcastle Road in particular had two conflicting weight limits actually. On one side of the road it was actually listed as 20 and on the other side coming in off of the opposite end it was listed as 30. In prior administrations, when Town Manager John Duke was here, we researched and tried to go back to find any active votes that the board had ever taken to impose such legal weight limits on the town so that we could discern which one was actually the correct one. In doing that research, we found none. There was no actual vote, so therefore the ordinance or the restriction on the road was pretty much null and void and put the town in a position of where we would have to defend something that we had no legal standing to actually, enforce. This has been a long-standing issue that we've been working on in the board as far as trying to resolve all of these things to get us in our postings, not only in parking ordinances, but road postings in the spring, to a standard in which we could actually legally enforce these. And that was one particular issue, since that's one road in town that had that conflicting information. We decided to remove those postings until such time that we have an educated and well-thought-out ordinance that we can enforce and put in front of the townspeople for acceptance. That's why the weight limits were removed.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to recognize you again, Kevin, if you, okay.
Just to follow up on this, we got the Lynch Road. It's got 10-ton load limit sign on it. Are you familiar with that, the board?
So we're talking about budget articles right now with this.
Yeah, I'm on the Lynch Road now.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Is there a
Yeah,
specific?
it follows up with this load limit,
Yeah.
because it's a 10-ton load limit on that Lynch Road. So how did that get on there? Good question, all right. But now it's increased to $23,000 because I just rode out there this afternoon with my mother, and the postage signs are still up on the telephone poles. And that is a Newcastle Road Commissioner doing, is what it is. So he's increased it 3,000 pounds. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion, comments, or questions on Article 10? Casey?
Casey Stevens, I just have a quick question about the technical assistance on that increase. I just wanted to know what that's all about. That's all.
There are a number of potential projects, including looking at Newcastle Square, that might need engineering or other assistance, and that's why that line item is in there in case we get to working on projects like that or we need more engineering. There are a number of other parts of town or road projects that might need additional engineering before the town addresses them. So we're not sure that we're going to get to those this year, but we wanted to put that in there so that we could address them if we need to.
So Newcastle Square is state road, correct? State maintained?
That's correct.
And so you're looking to spend some town money for engineering on that?
Potentially, if there's a project that gets town benefit as well. There are certain projects with that you have some cost sharing, and so it's looking at things like that. Again, there's nothing decided that we're going to do. But we wanted to be able to address things in this budget year if projects move forward in that way. And it's not just that. There were a couple of other places. I think Liberty Street that might potentially need some engineering, and some other road projects that we would need further technical assistance.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments? Okay, please vote. Okay. 28 yes, 14 no, so Article 10 passes. Article 11, shall the town raise and appropriate for reserve accounts as follows? Without objection, I declare the article as read. So a motion to accept Article 11. Moved and seconded. I'd like to recognize David for this article.
So this article contains the items for which we're putting money away for future expenses. And I just will highlight item 10 is the newest one on the list, is for a fire truck reserve. And it's my understanding that the equipment is getting old, and one truck is particularly back from the 70s that will probably need to be replaced in the future, so we should start saving for that, putting money away for that now.
Okay, questions, comments, discussion on Article 11? Okay, please vote. Okay. 39 yes, 5 no. Article 11 passes. Article 12, shall the town raise and appropriate for debt service as follows? Without objection, I declare the article as read, except the total requested is $270,506.57. So motion to accept Article 12. Moved and seconded. Recognize David again on this one.
So the good news here is there's no additional debt service that needs to be had. They're fixed debt amounts, so there's no change from last year.
Any questions or comments on Article 12? Okay, please vote. Okay. 44 yes, 2 no, so Article 12 passes. Article 13. Shall the town authorize the select board to accept prospective gifts and donations, providing the board place these funds in appropriately designated reserve accounts and only used for the intended purposes stated or in the best interests of the town? Motion to accept Article 13. Moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 13. Please vote. Okay. 38 yes, 3 no. Article 13 passes. Article 14, shall the town authorize the select board to accept and expend on behalf of the town any state and federal funds which may be received from time to time in the form of grants and funds from any source deemed appropriate by the municipal officers during the period of July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023, or act on anything relative thereto. So motion to accept Article 14. Moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 14. Please vote. Okay. 40 yes, 3 no. Article 14 passes. Article 15, shall the town authorize the select board on behalf of the town to sell and dispose of any real estate acquired by the town for non-payment of the taxes thereon, and to execute quitclaim deeds for said property in accordance with appropriate state law and procedures. Motion to accept Article 15. Moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 15. Okay, please vote. Okay. 38 yes, 5 no. Article 15 passes. Excuse me. Article 16, shall the town authorize the select board on behalf of the town to sell and dispose of any surplus equipment owned by the town in accordance with appropriate state law and procedures? So a motion for Article 16, moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 16? Please vote. Okay. 31 yes, 8 no. Article 16 passes. Article 17, shall the town direct the select board to establish the dates on which this year's taxes shall be due and payable? So a motion for Article 17. Moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 17? Please vote. Okay. 39 yes, 3 no. Article 17 passes. Article 18, shall the town authorize the select board to fund abatements by expending overlay, and in the event the overlay is depleted, authorize funding abatements through the unassigned fund balance. Motion to accept Article 18. Moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 18. Okay, please vote. Okay. 36 yes, 4 no. Article 18 passes. Article 19, shall the town authorize the select board to enter into multi-year contracts on behalf of the town? So a motion for Article 19. Moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 19. Please vote. Okay. 28 yes, 7 no. Article 20 passes. Article 21, shall the town authorize the select board to establish and appoint the members of standing and/or ad hoc committees of the select board to advise the board regarding the administration and operations of the town government? So a motion to accept Article 21. What's that? Oh, okay, I crossed, yeah. Article 19 was too short. Article 20, shall the town authorize the select board to carry unexpended funds forward to the next fiscal year within the existing budget line items? So a motion to accept Article 20. Well, got that right now, thanks. Discussion. Please vote. Okay. 36 yes, 4 no. Article 20 passes. Now Article 21. Shall the town authorize the select board to establish and appoint the members of standing and/or ad hoc committees of the select board to advise the board regarding the administration and operations of the town government? So a motion for Article 21. Moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 21. Okay, please vote. Okay. 39 yes, 3 no. Article 21 passes. Article 22, shall the town authorize the select board to reduce the total amount of taxes to be collected by the fiscal year 2023 total amount of estimated revenue to be determined, including use of surplus? So a motion to accept Article 22. Moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 22. Please vote. Okay. 37 yes, 4 no. Article 22 passes. Article 23, shall the town vote to authorize the treasurer to waive the foreclosure of tax lien mortgages pursuant to 36 MRSA, Section 944, upon a finding by the Select Board that ownership of the property that is subject to the tax lien mortgage would be contrary to the town's best interest? So a motion to accept Article 23. Moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 23. Please vote. Oh, okay. Okay. 36 yes, 8 no. Article 23 passes. Article 24, shall the town instruct the tax collector to charge interest at the rate of 6% per annum on all uncollected taxes and authorize the Select Board to establish a date on which interest starts to accrue, except for those taxpayers enrolled in the tax club before June 1st, 2022, and have made all payments on time and to date. So a motion for Article 24. Moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 24. Please vote. Okay. 36 yes, 6 no. Article 24 passes. Article 25, shall the town vote to authorize the tax collector to accept prepayment on taxes not yet committed and to pay interest at the rate of 0% as a courtesy to taxpayers who wish to pay some or all of their uncommitted taxes. So a motion for Article 25. Moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 25. Please vote. Okay. 39 yes, 2 no. Article 25 passes. 26, shall the town authorize the Select Board to expend funds from any town reserve account for an unbudgeted major expense? Note, major is defined as any cost not included in a corresponding operating budget. So a motion to accept Article 26. Moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 26. Please vote. Vote. Okay. 26 yes, 15 no. Article 26 passes. Article 27, shall the town allow the Select Board to transfer an amount not to exceed 2% of the total annual budget request from one category to another without prior approval of the special town meeting? So a motion for Article 27. Moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 27. Please vote. Okay. 25 yes, 12 no. Article 27 passes. Article 28, shall the town authorize the Select Board to regulate river herring fishing in all streams in which the town has an interest in accordance with the plan filed with and approved by the Commissioner of Marine Resources? Motion to accept Article 28. Moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 28. Please vote. Okay. 33 yes, 6 no. Article 28 passes. And finally, Article 29, shall the town vote to allocate $186,623.12 from the American Recovery Plan Act, ARPA, funds to the following projects: premium pay to town employees, town hall safety renovations as a response to the COVID-19 pandemic, fire station community room air quality improvements, town hall air quality improvements, Chamber of Commerce economic support, broadband expansion match to state and private contributions, Central Lincoln County YMCA social services support. So a motion to accept Article 29. Moved and seconded. I'd like to recognize Karen for this article. Is this on?
Is it on? There we go. I can tell now. The American Recovery Plan Act has 4 broad categories that we can expend this federal money in. One is response to public health emergency or its negative economic consequences, provision of premium pay to eligible workers, revenue replacement, and lastly, investments in water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure. We can use the funds to repay ourselves for things that have already been done that fall into these categories, or expend money on new projects going forward. We wanted to spend some of the money on making town facilities safer. You've all noticed the windows, partitions, the redo of the town office. So those are things that we've already done. We also wanted to improve the air quality in the town office and the community room to make them safer for all of us. We also wanted to recognize the town employees who continued to work and interact with the public during the pandemic. We also wanted to support the Broadband Committee's work on behalf of residents who don't have internet service. And we wanted to also support some organizations in the community who supported our residents during the pandemic and will do so going forward. We did seek input from residents at 2 select board meetings, and so you can see what we have recommended, what we have recommended for categories there. We have put some numbers. I guess we don't have the... So we've taken a ballpark guess at some of the numbers, but these aren't in stone. So just wanted to show you where we're thinking of putting some of the resources. I think most of them are self-explanatory, except... the Chamber of Commerce donation is towards their new facility because they're going to provide job resources, they're going to promote local businesses, and they provide much needed internet and study space to people who maybe need that because they don't have it at home. Let's see, the broadband expansion to unserved residents. The Central Lincoln County YMCA Community Navigation Program, many people might not know that their Navigator program helps people access local community and state resources, benefits assistance programs. They refer people to food, childcare, addiction resources, mental health services, and do it for all the people in the local community. They served 446 people in 2021 with referrals, and they follow up and track and help people in the different programs. So,
Got it?
yes, any
Okay.
questions? Yeah.
Questions or comments on Article 29? Ellen? Is that mic on?
Doesn't seem, yeah, there we go. Is there been a broadband plan approved and finalized, and if so, where can we see that? Is it on the website? Is there anything, what's up with that?
I don't know who wants to respond. The Broadband Committee has done a study, and they've found where there are houses in town who do not have access to any kind of broadband services, as well as people who maybe don't have the greatest service. They did get a proposal from Tidewater Telecom to input or to build some of this infrastructure. So we haven't settled on any agreement with anybody yet. We're looking at what's the best way to do this and what's the best use of town taxpayer money going forward in bringing better internet service to the people, especially the people who don't have it in town. So there's nothing out there yet. Nothing's decided.
Further questions or comments on Article 29? Oh, thank goodness.
Wow, that's better.
Okay, please vote.
Couldn't we have done that earlier?
I guess not.
Last person want to vote the last time? There we go. Okay. 34 yes, 10 no, so Article 29 passes. And that's all there is on the warrant. Motion? No, Roger, go ahead.
I'm Roger Hathaway. I have two questions. In looking on page 21, I see that there's money appropriated for the Veterans Park maintenance and cemetery maintenance. Do any of you know if any money has been appropriated or set aside by state law to take care of the veterans' plots, not the cemeteries, the veterans' plots that are located here in Newcastle?
Roger, what do you mean the difference between plots and cemeteries?
Well, a whole cemetery could be veterans, it could be non-veterans.
Okay, you're talking
I'm
about
saying
the individual
the
graves.
state requires them to take care of the veterans' plots, where veterans are buried.
That is that money. That is that money.
Which
that you-
one?
That you just, the
Cemetery.
cemetery.
Well, there's cemetery maintenance and a moving contract, according to this. Is it included in that $3,000? Or do you not make a distinction between the two?
The mowing contract is a mowing contract, that's separate,
The Veterans Park is the park,
is the park.
the little park out in town,
We know
right?
that. That has nothing to
Right.
do with what I'm talking about.
Exactly, okay, because you mentioned that one. So the cemetery maintenance would hopefully take care of the veterans,
As well
Plots.
as the non-veterans?
yes. Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to know that we were
We do need to do some
complying by
work
the
in
state law.
cemeteries.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
You have another question?
Point number 2. As I go through the book here, we now have passed all of the articles pertaining to monetary expenditure. Do you have any idea what the increase is over last year's expenditure? And if you do, what effect is this going to have on our mill rate coming up?
It's just under 5% increase in our budget, overall budget.
Well, the newspaper mentioned 4.7%.
Yeah, something,
4.7%.
4.7,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, now what effect is that going to have on our mill rate?
That's something that we find out once our tax assessor will give us that information, because there's a few other, there's new properties, new taxes that get entered into the equation, and then we set overlay. So those are the two figures that we'll be setting at our meeting. It's usually our second or third meeting.
All right, with Jim Murphy, you mean?
Jim Murphy.
Is he going to be responsible for that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I think that's going to be it for me tonight. Do you have a monetary figure as to the increase?
Nope.
No. I see nobody has a calculator, so they can't do it.
Okay, thanks, Roger. Anybody else would like? Yes, sir.
Roger Wilcox. I would like to see from our town representatives better lines of communication. I've left messages for several of our town, and I never got a response back. And it's hard to get a hold of people. You leave messages and, a phone call or an email or something, because the communication has been less than desirable for me. So I'd like to see that addressed.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Motion to adjourn. Move. Second, any discussion on that? All in favor? Hey, I knew the unanimous. Do we have that on there? Electronically?